Hello, fans of study abroad. This is Ed Soliklis presenting an infomercial about this program. So this program is the Architectural Engineering Study Abroad program, but it's also available to civil engineering students and to students seeking a minor. So we've had some architecture students go before. But it really is geared towards the architectural engineers because they simply do not have anything that will allow them to stay on track and study abroad. So I designed this course years ago, and it's changed quite a bit over the years. But now you have three courses: ARCE 302, ARCE 352, and ARCE 371. And you get 7 units in a very intense experience. I'm not going this coming summer, but we have an outstanding team. We have Anahid Behrouzi, Peter Larson, and Brent Nuttall. So this team will guide you, mentor you, teach you. They will go on the field trips with you. Here's a couple of scenes from my country. There's a QR code here. Please do take a look at the Cal Poly Global website. I'll come back to that in a bit here. What I'd like to do is briefly present an overview of some of the technical things, some of the cultural things, and then my own quick impression. So maybe 10-12 minute infomercial. Where is my country? Where is Lithuania? So we're in Central Europe, maybe Eastern Europe. Big Bad Russia's over here. Poland, Germany. This is the Baltic Sea. There is Copenhagen, the center of all things Danish. And Peter, of course, is from Denmark. Zooming in a little bit, you'll see the other, the second Baltic country. We have Lithuania, Latvia, and then Estonia is just to the north of Latvia. The capital of Lithuania is Vilnius, and that's where we will be housed. It's a beautiful city, an ancient city, a modern city, a Jewish city, a pagan city, a Christian city, really a confluence of cultures. And part of that is because where it is here, you could see we got some big muscular neighbors surrounding us, and they would just occasionally march through, every 50 years or so. Remarkably, the Old Town is still intact. This is one of the few authentic old towns in Europe. Many of them are fake. Vilnius is the only capital in Europe where you're allowed to fly hot air balloons over the capital. These are fake decorations. There's Brent and me in Glassmaker Street, one of my favorite streets in the Old Town. There's the castle up on the hill, a very nice landmark. This is the river running east and west when you are on campus, easy to navigate. What is the most important thing I can tell you today? The most important thing is sign up, get your name on some lists, do the training, and get terrific grades in all of the prereqs. There's a lot. There's the statics course, the mechanics type course, the follow-up, structures 1, structures 2, then a hardcore mechanics of materials or strength of materials, and then we have that additional statics course. So if you're a civil engineer or an architecture student, you must meet these prereqs. And if you do, you can go to the most exciting city imaginable. Well, maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit. This is our architecture building. Housed in a very significant historic structure. Right across the street is Daniel Liebeskin's brand new MO, Museum of Modern Art. They call it MO with a huge cantilever here. Vilnius Tech is the university, our host university. And one of the most amazing things about this program is that you will be in class with the Lithuanians. Here they are in a mugshot. But you are the foreigners. The Lithuanians are your hosts, but they will also be your peers. So we expect 6 to 8 Lithuanian students. They will be in the class with you. They will take meals with you. lunch meals. They will go on the field trips with you, and they will help you navigate this wonderful city. You can see the European Union flag. We are part of the EU. We are part of NATO. Very proud of our independence, which is pretty recent from the Soviet Union. So one of the other astonishing things that you will learn about is that heavy-handed Soviet footprint is still there. It's still there everywhere. You'll see it in places like this. This is the Hill of Crosses. It was a protest against the Soviet regime. People would put up Christian crosses on this hill. A bulldozer would come and knock them down. Next day, new crosses are there. Eventually, the bulldozers stop. It's a kind of a spooky, mysterious site. We're not going to spend a lot of time there, but it's on the way to a very beautiful geographic site, the so-called sand spit. It's jutting out into the Baltic, a very fragile ecosystem, sand dunes, little fishing villages around, a very, very beautiful part of the country, so we will go there. This website is important. Please click on this. Study abroad, Cal Poly, Lithuania. Look for it. You must attend a training session before you can actually apply to the program. The training session is not onerous, about an hour. I think it's actually all online. So real quick, once again, you will get 3 courses. You will get ARCE 302, which is structural analysis class. You will get that paired to 352, a computational class, and then 371. 371 is a structural systems class. If you're an architecture major and a ARCE minor, this will substitute for 226 for you. An astonishing, life-changing, for the better experience. A couple of pictures here. This is the founder of Vilnius in the 13th century, I guess. A bunch of students here. Cathedral Square is sort of our navigation point. You could see the cathedral here, the huge bell tower. A big square, lots of events happening like day and night. So we often just say meet on Cathedral Square by the bell tower, and it's very easy to find. The cathedral itself is a curious structure. The architecture in Lithuania is very curious and very mishmash of Italianate, a little bit of Gothic kinds of things, but mostly the Italianate. And this was converted to a museum of atheism for a period during the Soviet era, which was, a pretty mean trick to make the cathedral a museum of atheism. Lots of other dilapidated churches around, lots of churches in the city. Many of them suffered tremendously. This was actually used as a warehouse, this one. This is the Franciscan church. It's right behind the architecture building. That's why I showed it. I really like this space. It's really interesting, and it's so ruined. Lots of cool graffiti. Movies are being filmed in Vilnius. A couple of Chernobyl was filmed there, right in this street here. That was an HBO series. There's a lot of artist enclaves, really hippy-dippy places like vegan, artsy colony things. The Dalai Lama visited one of these art colonies. And very curious architecture. This is the wedding chapel that the Soviets created in response to prohibiting people from getting married in a church. So they set up this wedding chapel where the state married you. And in a kind of a curious twist of history, people have embraced this building. They still get married here. The women rent their bridal gowns. There's about 8 bridal gown rental stores down the street from this. They take their picture on the stairs. They sign a couple papers. They have a little toast, and they go and return the dress. That's the way you should do it. Super cultural city. It was one of the cultural capitals of Europe for 1 year. Theater, performances, live music outside. The Opera House is major, but it's closed in the summer, so you can't go in there. But they did show Salomea, my favorite opera, when we were there as a outdoor sort of spectacle. Food is heavy. Pork, potatoes. In fact, we put pork on our pork. We put bacon on our pork. So we really like pork. Um, Fresh vegetables are there. The dairy products are amazing. My favorite yogurt, and I make yogurt. My favorite yogurt is this cherry yogurt from Rokiškės Creamery that you can get for like 70 cents, this big tub of it. Anyway, I think if you're a vegetarian, it'll work out. It's going to be challenging. But if you like heavy peasant food, it's plentiful and it's cheap and it's delicious. Here we are in the classroom. This is my 371 class, pinning up posters, final critique. Lithuanian students, Cal Poly students, everybody together. One big happy family. So you are integrated fully. You work like a crazy person. You work all day, you work all night. We want intense people to come here. Work hard, play hard. Another shot of one of those artsy colony places where you'll just love walking around there, just kind of getting lost on the winding streets, finding curious things like that. Hill of Crosses, again, we saw that before. Ropes courses, trips through the forest, lots of mushrooms, and really a spectacular opportunity. So really, the thing I want to leave with you is a couple of thoughts here. First of all, 7 units in 6 weeks. So it's serious. You will be on 10 out of 10, okay? Which is good to know. What is your 10 limit? What is your 10 limit? You're not at 10 right now. I can guarantee you that. We're going to push you to 10. Weekends are typically free except for the excursions. You can travel. Students blast out to England, all over the place. Latvia is kind of a must-see because their capital, Riga, is right on the water of the Baltic. But people go to Poland, they go all over on the weekends. It's very, very cheap. And I mean like cheap, like 17 euros cheap to fly to Liverpool. Nightlife is astonishing. It's a very, very active city. Dancing is a big deal. Lots of clubs where people dance. And I mean till 6 a.m. This is serious clubbing. And I don't do that, but I'm sure Anahid is going to want to dance quite a bit. And I suspect Peter and Brent will also. The architecture is astonishing. This kind of Baroque, Italianate, and then forests surrounding the city. It's a very safe environment. Healthcare is excellent. The Wi-Fi, or we call it Wi-Fi, is as excellent everywhere. You'll be staying in a hotel not far from campus. So you'll be staying in a hotel right in the old town. Typically old town scene sort of, I think I showed you a few things. Not far from this. Not far from this. So you'll be staying 2 to a room in a modern hotel. 3 meals a day, 7 days a week. 2 major field trips. 7 units of class. Super intense. The cost is not established yet right now, but it's probably the cheapest to study abroad in the entire CSU because Lithuania is a very inexpensive place to live. So we're thinking it's about $7,000 for the tuition, the hotel, all your meals, all your fees, health insurance, the excursions, all the field trips, everything. About $7,000, maybe a little bit more. We haven't dialed it in yet, because we don't know how many people are going. That affects the price. The airfare is not included. So most students will go on a kind of a grand European tour after their visit. So you fly in on Saturday. We'll have an orientation on Sunday. We'll walk down this street on Sunday. And then you go all the way through July 30th. And then Europe is yours. You know, you will be very confident navigating the trains, navigating the planes, navigating border patrols, being street savvy, not looking like an American tourist. You will know that by July 30th. So not a lot of time after finals to do this. Lots of time after our final in Lithuania to be a savvy European traveler. This is a hugely positive experience for many students. One student said it was the best experience of his life. Not of his academic life, but I mean of his entire life. So we have lots of stories like that. So who are you going to call if you have questions? So you could certainly ask me, but I think the best thing is to ask Peter at this point. He's actually the trip leader, Peter Larson. Brent has been there before. Anahit has not been, so she's the new person on the team. She'll be going this year and presumably next year. But you could certainly contact me to find me. And I hope you seriously consider this. Why are we telling you this now? Talk to your parents. Talk to your grandparents. Talk to people. Say this is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And you know I'm prone to exaggeration, but I'm not exaggerating. This is a once-in-a-lifetime experience for you. So please take it seriously, consider it seriously, and ask any questions that you may have. Achu is thank you. It sounds like a sneeze, easy to say. Achu. Achu.